So many? Luo Feng was shocked. Surveying his surroundings, he could barely make out the silhouettes of 2 to 3 small teams. Most of the teams are close to the canyon and all of them are hidden. Hence if you don't look carefully, it'll be hard to spot a few teams. Babata's voice resounded. Understood. Luo Feng said. It was completely bare. The rocks on this mountain range were almost all black with only a few silver mixed in. Luo Feng's team carefully advanced. In the center of the mountain range, it was as though it had been chopped down by a god's blade, splitting the entire mountain range apart, forming a canyon. This huge canyon that seemed to have been formed by a blade was the Canyon of Wind and Thunder. With the universe energy as the source, the raging winds howled, mixed with large amounts of broken rocks. There were even some wind cornerstones that danced in the wind. On both sides of the canyon, in various places, there were many families and powers from the Black Dragon Mountain star field, the younger generation from many planets. They were the younger generation and had yet to become true universe warriors. This time was their first test on the path to becoming strong. Luo Feng, this is a map. The location marked out on it is an extremely good location. It's best for your team to hide there. Babata communicated mentally. Luo Feng lowered his head to look at the screen on his arm. Follow me. Luo Feng said softly. Hong, Thunder God and the other two followed quietly. The closer they got to the canyon, the stronger the winds became. Luo Feng came to a boulder, fiercely lifting it up, revealing a cave, communicating mentally. Everyone go in, there's a cave inside, it connects directly to the canyon walls. You can even find such a place? Thunder God couldn't help but praise. Go in. Hong led the way in. In this world of thunder, the range of a spirit reader's spirit force was very small. That was because the range of the spirit reader's spirit force was very small in the air, and for the spirit reader's spirit force to pass through these giant rocks mixed with universe origin energy, it was absolutely impossible for someone at least at the star level to do so. Spirit energy couldn't scan, hence such a place was very hard to find. And to dig it himself? With the Canyon of Wind and Thunder having been tempered by the strong winds for a long time, it would take at least 1 to 2 years of work to completely dig it out. Luckily I had Babata's reminder. Luo Feng jumped into the cave covering the boulder. The cave was within the mountain range. He walked along the cave until he reached one of the mountain walls leading to the Wind and Thunder Canyon. There was a hole about 30 centimeters wide on the mountain wall. What is this? Thunder God's eyes lit up. Hong Lian picked up a small, smooth stone near the entrance of the cave. The stone was mainly black, but the surface of the stone was coated with a strange blue film. The ordinary stones here were all black or black stones with a hint of silver mixed in. Only the wind cornerstone had a layer of dark blue light. It was said that the wind cornerstone had been struck by lightning, but it didn't turn into powder. It just so happened that it had absorbed a trace of the power of lightning to form this strange stone. Wind cornerstone, it's the wind cornerstone. Thunder God said. I didn't expect to be able to pick up a wind cornerstone. Luo Feng smiled as he walked to the entrance of the cave. Outside the cave, the wind howled like ghosts and howled like wolves, turning the entire sky dark. As one side of the cave was blocked, the wind was very weak. Luo Feng turned and said to the other 4 in the cave, the wind outside is very terrifying, it's very hard to find another wind cornerstone. Previously there was a wind cornerstone on the ground of the cave. It was probably one of the wind cornerstones that flew into the cave. However, this was purely a matter of luck, otherwise there wouldn't only be one within the cave. Second brother, third brother, according to the books we have 3 methods. Hong said softly, the first method is to go to the top of the canyon and risk your life to collect the wind cornerstones. Because the wind gets stronger the deeper you go, the stronger it gets towards the center. Hence the wind at the top of the canyon is much weaker, at least a star level 7 or 8 would be able to withstand it. The only danger is, as it's at the highest point, it's easy to attract the lightning. That lightning in the cumulus cloud, any one of them would definitely have no chance of survival. The second method is to get close to the canyon and use spirit energy or genetic energy to pull 1 or 2 of the wind cornerstones that were swept away by the wind over. This is difficult to do, but the danger is very low. It requires patience. The third method is to kill the other teams that have the wind cornerstones and steal them. Everybody, which method do you think we should use? Hong looked at Thunder God and Luo Feng. Luo Feng creased his eyebrows and pondered. Going to the top of the canyon to collect the wind cornerstones was the fastest. If one didn't get struck by lightning, it would be like picking a stone. However, according to the experiences of the seniors, when going to the top of the canyon to collect the wind cornerstones, one had to keep all the metals on one's body. It was said that the more metal one had, the more it would attract the lightning to strike. If one arranged for a metal robot to go, there was a 100% chance of being struck by lightning. And humans wearing normal clothes, the chances of being struck by lightning were about 50%. If one wore alloy armor, the chances of being struck by lightning would rise to about 2/3. This was the experience of the generations of seniors that fought in the world of thunder. The first method is very dangerous and it's purely based on luck, it's not for us. The third method, robbing and killing the other teams? Luo Feng shook his head. The cave we're in right now is extremely good. The cave entrance is right on the mountain wall of the canyon. We'll temporarily use the second method. At the same time, we'll see how the other teams acquire the wind cornerstones. Let's observe first before deciding. All right. Hong nodded. Thunder God agreed too, hence Luo Feng and the others temporarily began their days of waiting. Catching the wind cornerstones that were flying close to the entrance of the cave, one needed luck, and the other needed strength. As the raging winds made it hard for one's naked eye to see clearly, with large amounts of stones mixed within, there would occasionally be one or two wind cornerstones, hence it required luck. And the moment the wind cornerstones flew past the cave entrance, one had to grab them in an instant. If they missed it, they would have to wait a long time for the next time. However, the raging winds contain the universe energies. The moment the spirit energy was about to reach in, it would be destroyed and dissipated. LuoFeng's spirit energy hand could only extend about 20 centimeters out of the cave entrance, maintaining the spirit energy hand without dissipating. And the star level 9 Aogu's spirit energy hand could only extend 1 m out without dissipating. Exceeding 1 m, Aogu couldn't maintain the stability of his spirit energy. On the contrary, what made LuoFeng pleasantly surprised was the cloud contact vine that was currently a star level 4. After shrinking, it formed a vine that was extremely sturdy, able to reach about 2 m deep into the wind with lightning speed and swiftly retract. Even though the vine was covered in wounds, its recovery speed was indeed able to maintain the 2 m deep result. This indeed made LuoFeng pleasantly surprised. He reckoned that this raging wind infused with the universe energies was even more destructive to spirit energy-like existences, but to plants like the vine, it probably had less of a destructive effect. In the Canyon of Wind and Thunder, the majority of the teams relied on this method of waiting to grab the wind cornerstones, occasionally forcing the slave bodyguards to risk their lives at the top of the canyon to grab the wind cornerstones. However, such teams were very rare. After all, the slave bodyguards were also a part of their battle strength. Losing one or two would have a huge impact on the team. On the third day in the Canyon of Wind and Thunder, LuoFeng and the others acquired their second wind cornerstone. On the fifth day in the Canyon of Wind and Thunder, LuoFeng and the others acquired their third wind cornerstone. On the ninth day they acquired their fourth wind cornerstone. And this was still because of their good location. A normal team just passing through half of the world of thunder would require a year and a half. Collecting the wind cornerstones would require another year and a half. Hence spending a few years of effort was normal. LuoFeng and his team were already considered to be an extremely efficient team. On the 32nd day in the Canyon of Wind and Thunder. This cave's location is really good. If this goes on in another month, we'll definitely be able to collect all the wind cornerstones. Thunder God laughed. LuoFeng, Hong, Thunder God, Tainan He and Aogu, the five of them sat cross-legged. One of the vines extended from LuoFeng's arm and stopped at the entrance of the cave, ready to attack at any time. And in front of the five of them was a projection screen on the mountain wall. It was created by LuoFeng's living AI Babata. On the screen were 4 images, depicting the scenery within a 20 kilometers radius. Even though we're in the cave, we can clearly see the situation within the 20 kilometers radius. LuoFeng laughed. How refreshing. Thunder God complimented. Look, there's another 2 teams rushing over, dodging really quickly. The spirit reader is not bad too. Thunder God's eyes gleamed, evaluating one of the images that suddenly appeared 2 teams. However, his expression froze, saying, "It's Heruo." Heruo. LuoFeng's expression changed. Back when he, his big brother and second brother were in the virtual universe killing fields, they made quite a few friends. Amongst them were Heruo and Bulemu. Before Heruo and Bulemu said they wanted to participate in the Universe Mercenary trainee exam. The entire Black Dragon Mountain star field was in this place. Heruo and the others being here was very normal. Let's go. Hong was the first to rush out. Aogu and Tainan He looked at LuoFeng. Quickly. LuoFeng didn't hesitate. Immediately the 5-man team swiftly followed the other end of the cave and rushed out, using their spirit energy to sweep away the unremarkable rocks. After the 5 of them came out, they put the rocks down again. In the distance, Heruo's team was currently being pressured and attacked by another team. Heruo's team only had 2-star level 9s, while the opponent had 5-star level 9s. However, both sides were mostly injured. Obviously they were fighting crazily. Both teams swiftly noticed another team rushing over from the distance. Heruo. Spirit energy transmission resounded in his ears. Heruo turned his head to look. Within the 5 lightning silhouettes rushing over were LuoFeng, Hong and Thunder God, his 3 good friends. He immediately revealed a look of glee, and the 2 rushing at the front were Tainan He and Aogu, especially Aogu, who had released his spirit weapon from afar, becoming a golden beam of light. 2-star level 9s? The enemy team looked. The quantum computer had long since determined the opponent's strength. Retreat. Quickly retreat. The captain ordered. Without any hesitation, the team swiftly retreated. Even though they had 5-star level 9s, 3 of them were injured. One had to know there were strong and weak star level 9s. The strong ones could fight 10 of the same level and level. Heruo's team had a rather strong star level 9. This was also the reason why they were able to hold on for so long even though they were at a disadvantage. And the 2 rushing over right now, daring to rush over meant they had confidence. The 2 teams converged. The enemy team thought they wouldn't be able to hold on. Even if they could, with both sides heavily injured, the enemy team wouldn't be willing, hence they decided to retreat. LuoFeng's team and Heruo's team converged. Thank you. You are. Immediately a bald youth with green markings on both sides of his face walked over to thank them. They are my friends. Heruo said, simultaneously walking forward. LuoFeng, Hong, Thunder God. Heruo said. What happened? How did it end up like this? LuoFeng and the other 2 looked at Heruo. Thunder God said, Heruo, aren't you from the North Dragon City organization? How did you end up like this? Thunder God and Hong knew the importance of the universe language the first time they came into contact with the virtual universe. Naturally they began to learn it. With their brain expansiveness, learning was indeed very fast. Even though they weren't proficient, communicating wasn't a problem. Speaking of which, it was really tragic this time. Heruo shook his head. Our team had 5 elites and 5 bodyguards. When we were dealing with the single-horned iron rhino horn, we were surrounded by ferocious beasts. One of our bodyguards died. Later, on our way to the Wind and Thunder Canyon, we were ambushed 6 times in a row by other squads. In the process, we lost another 2 bodyguards and 3 elite companions. Heruo's expression was bitter. Now, our squad only has 2 elites and 2 bodyguards left. LuoFeng felt his heart go cold as he heard. My God. Even though his team had experienced over 10 life and death situations, most of them were from the ferocious beasts. As for the ambushes, with Ao Gu and the hybrid copper essence shard, it was really a clean sweep. Plus with Babata's vigilance, LuoFeng's team's journey was tough. There were people injured, but no one died. However, Heruo's team actually lost more than half of them. Where's Bulemu? Thunder God asked. In the other teams? He's dead. Heruo shook his head. LuoFeng was stunned that rough-looking black bear-like youth was dead. LuoFeng could still clearly remember the scene of him, Hong and Thunder God wishing them safe return. Who would have thought that in the blink of an eye, Bulemu was already dead? How could this happen? There's no use in being sad. Heruo shook his head and laughed bitterly. Many of the brothers and sisters that I've lived with for so many years have died. This is the first test for us elites. Only after going through life and death situations and finally breaking through to the universe level, can we be called strong and become important members of the organization. Selection. The bald green-marked youth beside shook his head. This is the selection. Large amounts of so-called geniuses and elites, after going through life and death situations, are eliminated and die. Only at the very end do a few universe levels emerge. Our training camp has over 10,000 geniuses and elites, but if 10 of them can become universe levels, that's already not bad. Luo Feng, Hong and Thunder God exchanged glances. Cruel. Very cruel. These are the rules of the universe organizations. They take in large amounts of geniuses and elites, give them the best education, provide them with the best conditions, and then give them the cruelest elimination rules, finally giving birth to a few strong warriors. It can be said, those who participate in the Universe level mercenary trainee exam aren't even considered strong. They're all just trainees after going through 1 in 1,000. No, that's the probability of the big organization's elites. Precisely speaking, after going through 1 in 10 million chance, maybe a universe level will emerge. Rumble. The entire world of thunder suddenly shook violently, without any warning whatsoever. All the teams were shocked. What's going on? Is this world about to collapse? My God. The entire valley of wind and thunder spanned over 1,000 km. The tens of thousands of star-level explorers who came to take the exam, all looked up in shock at their surroundings at the world. And LuoFeng's team and Heruo's team naturally looked up in shock at their surroundings. The entire world was shaking, even the mountains were shaking. What's going on? LuoFeng looked around. Over there. Someone shouted. Tens of thousands of stellar-level adventurers, as long as they were on the mountain range, saw the mountain range not far away crack open, and a pitch-black hole that seemed to have been torn open appeared. This black hole was half on the mountain range and the other half was in the mountain range. The surrounding space was torn open and it was extremely strange. Look, what's that? Thunder God stared wide-eyed, pointing at the distant pitch-black hole. A black hole that tore open the world of thunder? Beside him, Heruo from the North Dragon City team creased his eyebrows too. Luo Feng was staring at the black hole, pondering. This black hole wasn't a normal cave, but a mysterious existence that tore open space. Babata, just what is this black hole? It should be an entrance to a world. Right, an entrance to a world. Babata's excited voice resounded. Entrance to a world? Luo Feng held his alloy blade, feeling suspicious. And at this time, the tens of thousands of explorers on the mountain range were all looking at the black hole. Suddenly a voice resounded, a world within a world. This could very well be the entrance to a world within a world. Right, a world within a world. It's a world within a world. Quickly. Large amounts of star-level youths from the various families and powers of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire, or even youths from different planets, all with different looks. However, at this time they were all extremely excited, all becoming beams of light, over 10,000 beams of light swiftly flying towards the distant black hole. It's a world within a world. Heruo too was extremely excited. A world within a world? Luo Feng, Hong and Thunder God were all suspicious. At this time it was time to display their knowledge. The explorers from the various families and planets all had some understanding of many things and legends. However, Luo Feng and the other two hadn't been in contact with the virtual universe network for long. They didn't know much. Quickly rush, don't let them get ahead of us. Heruo shouted, his team swiftly rushing into the distance. Even though Luo Feng was suspicious, his team followed the large amounts of people and swiftly rushed over. Luo Feng, don't rush. Babata's voice resounded, a few minutes late is fine. Babata, what's a world within a world? Luo Feng asked. A Sector Lord can create a world, you should know that. And within this world he can create another world and hide it within this world. This world within this world is called a world within a world. Babata explained, however, to create another world within this world. First, we need the world within a world to be stable enough. That requires large amounts of universe crystals as the foundation. Luo Feng understood. The world of thunder was hidden within a villa on SwallowedStar. And this world within a world was hidden in a secret place within the world of thunder. Creating a world within a world costs a lot. That's why they usually build a world within a world at all costs to hide treasures. Babata said. The black hole that appeared beside the Wind and Thunder Canyon attracted a large number of adventurers. Within the crowd there was a small team dressed entirely in black, 9-star level 9s and 1-star level 2, it was the 9th Prince's team that killed the horned iron rhinos. Your Highness, a bodyguard greeted respectfully. Interesting, very interesting. The white-skinned youth wielded a blade, looking at the black hole and smiling. A world within a world? The cost of building a world was already high enough. He wanted to build another world within this world. The difficulty was 10 times higher. For a sector lord to be willing to pay such a huge price to create a world within a world, there must be a true treasure hidden within. This world of thunder has long been excavated, after which it was used by the Universe Mercenary Alliance as a testing world. After so long, countless people have come here, but no one has found a world within a world. That team actually accidentally opened the entrance to the world within a world. The young man revealed a smile. Luck. That's luck. Your Majesty's luck has always been good. The black-clothed bodyguard beside said respectfully. No, this world within a world is too big of a piece of meat. The youth shook his head. To be able to make a sector lord pay a huge price to create a world within a world to hide, it's definitely a treasure that even a sector lord would be jealous of. The news of the world within a world would swiftly spread to the 4 big organizations, the absolute warriors of our empire, the domain lords and even the sector lords would rush over. Hence, this group of star-level explorers wouldn't be able to get any true treasures. The youth said disdainfully. Your Majesty, if you were able to get any treasures, that group of warriors wouldn't come to steal from you. The black-clothed bodyguard said. The youth smiled. Woo, the team at the very front, the robots they sent in have come out again. The entrance to the world within a world isn't dangerous. Let's go, we'll enter. The youth ordered, the 9 bodyguards under him acknowledged. The entrance to the world within a world isn't dangerous, we can enter. Brothers from the 100 Tiger building quickly follow. The star-level explorers were all going crazy. Luo Feng's team and Heruo's team swiftly entered the black hole amidst the crowd. This is the world within a world? Luo Feng looked at his surroundings. It was currently nighttime within the world within a world. Within the darkness there were faint threads of light floating about. One couldn't see very far with the naked eye. Brother Luo Feng, wait a moment, I'll report the news to the organization. Heruo said. Report to the organization? Luo Feng looked at Heruo. Hong and Thunder God were shocked too. Encountering such a huge matter, if we don't report it in the future, we'll be in deep trouble. Heruo shook his head. Beside him another comrade had already closed his eyes, his consciousness connected to the virtual universe. Following which Heruo closed his eyes too. As for the 2 bodyguards, they stood by the side, silently guarding them. Luo Feng sighed within as he saw the situation. This organization's influence on their disciples was simply too exaggerated. Looks like the 4 big organizations within the Black Dragon Mountain Empire would quickly get wind of this news. The Black Dragon Mountain star field encompassed over 8,000 galaxies, with trillions of life planets. The roots of the 4 big organizations spread throughout many galaxies, and among them, in terms of position and power, the Black Cloud Guild, North Dragon City, 100 Tiger Building and 3-Axe Mountain, the undisputed number 1 amongst the 4 was the 3-Axe Mountain. The 3-Axe Mountain was different from the other 3 big organizations. The other 3 organizations trained their elites etc., and the 3-Axe Mountain didn't even accept star levels to join the 3-Axe Mountain, the lowest one had to be a universe level. Within the 3-Axe Mountain, in terms of position the universe levels were called soldiers, the domain lords were called commanders and the sector lords were called generals. Was said. The 3 founders of the 3-Axe Mountain had the highest title of generals. These 3 founders, 2 of them had already become undying, the last one had reached the pinnacle of sector lords hundreds of thousands of years ago, invincible amongst the sector lords, after which there was no news of him. No one knew if he broke through to the undying level or if he died. You're talking about SwallowedStar's World of Thunder? A man dressed in a dark red battle uniform, draped in a peculiar black cape, looked at the silver-haired old man draped in a white cape. Yes, General? The old man said respectfully. You may leave. The general ordered. Yes. The old man's silhouette flashed and disappeared. The eyes of the man in the crimson battle uniform were faintly flashing with lightning. The corners of his mouth curled up slightly, and his fingers lightly moved. The surrounding space began to ripple, and even cracks in space would occasionally appear. General said in a low voice, the world of thunder was created by Realm Lord Kabu back then. No wonder Kabu's hidden treasures couldn't be found. So he even created a world within a world. The Universe Mercenary Alliance was very interesting too, obtaining this world of thunder early on, excavating it for so long all the treasures were gone. Only then did they transport large amounts of ferocious beasts in, creating a test world. Who would have thought? This test world still had a world within a world. Interesting. Kabu, he's been dead for tens of thousands of years, yet he's never stopped worrying. The general's eyes gleamed, almost as though he could pierce through space. That space technique he obtained back then, who knows, it might be left in that world within a world. The world of thunder, back then the world of thunder Sector Lord Kabu created, there's still a world within a world? Sector Lord Kabu created this world within a world, the treasures he hid definitely weren't ordinary. Luckily, SwallowedStar is close to me. Quick, get on the ship. We're leaving for SwallowedStar immediately. In a base, large amounts of Star Level 9 warriors swiftly rushed into the ship, following which 2 domain lords also flew in, following which the ship took off. This day the entire Black Dragon Mountain Empire was in an uproar because of this news. Even though the Black Dragon Mountain Empire controlled over 8,000 galaxies, a Sector Lord was already considered the pinnacle of power in the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. For example, the 16 big families, it was all because they had a Sector Lord that they had such a position. The creator of the world of thunder, Sector Lord Kabu, was a pinnacle Sector Lord warrior back then. He created a world within a world. What treasures would there be? The entire Black Dragon Mountain Empire, even the royal family sent people over, the 4 big organizations all sent their experts over. In the eyes of the large powers, even though those star-level explorers were the ones who discovered the world within a world, the ones who could truly obtain the treasures of the world within a world were undoubtedly them. Star levels? Just cannon fodder. A fiery red planet. The planet's diameter was 8,600 kilometers, the planet's surface was covered in fiery red sand. This was a planet of sand and rocks, without any signs of life. The planet's surface temperature could reach a maximum of over 3,000 degrees, it was a normal planet unsuitable for humans to live on, it could be seen everywhere in the universe. On this planet, a fiery red tall mountain. The wind blew past, the tall mountain was deathly silent. Rumble. Very suddenly the entire tall mountain fiercely exploded, trillions of mountain rocks flew in all directions. A purple flame rushed into the sky, enveloped in the purple flame, wearing an armor, eyes blazing with flames, a bald brute floated in the air, on his forehead was a strange flame imprint. Sector Lord Kabu actually left behind a world within a world? No wonder I haven't heard any news of that spatial technique inheritance crystal ball in so many years. That inheritance crystal ball could very well be in a world within a world. That's a complete inheritance, haha, it's mine. Rumble. In front of him appeared a huge silver pyramid. It was almost exactly the same as the automaton race's pyramid ship back on Earth, just that it was a little smaller. Below this silver pyramid automatically opened up an entrance pathway. The pathway was filled with colorful lights, it was incomparably beautiful. So, enveloped in the purple flame, the godlike bald brute's figure flashed and entered the ship, after which the silver pyramid ship swiftly broke through space and left this deathly silent planet, rapidly accelerating, entering the universe, starting to rush towards SwallowedStar star. Within the world within a world. Tens of thousands of stellar-level adventurers came in from the black hole. They formed small teams and quickly flew in all directions. Third brother, where are we going? Hong looked at Luo Feng. We can't waste time. Thunder God was also very anxious. Luo Feng looked around. At this time, Heruo, who had connected to the virtual universe network to report the news, opened his eyes, looking apologetically at Luo Feng and the others. Luo Feng, Hong, Thunder God, my apologies, I have to follow the organization's orders to meet up. After which, their team swiftly flew away. Follow me. Luo Feng rose into the air. Hong, Thunder God, Tainanha and Aogu followed behind, the 5-man team flying close to the ground. Before, there were tens of thousands of explorers densely packed together. However, after flying for a few minutes, LuoFeng's team couldn't see anyone else anymore. This world within a world was simply too huge. Tens of thousands of people entering was like a drop of water falling into the ocean. Third brother, we're just flying like this? Hong looked at Luo Feng. That's the only way. Luo Feng explained, a world within a world is a world. Who knew where the treasure was hidden? Therefore he could only wander aimlessly like searching for a needle in a haystack. Fortunately, we can detect within a 20-kilometer radius. As long as there are any treasures within this range, we will definitely be able to discover them immediately. Luo Feng was very clear with the vastness of the world within a world, this was his best method. Stick close to the ground, then let Babata search within 20 kilometers. If there is a treasure, immediately inform me. Big brother, second brother. Luo Feng smiled. Before Heruo went to gather with the North Dragon City people, you should have noticed something, right? Thunder God nodded. The major powers have arranged for their forces to join forces. A world within a world for treasures. Numbers were important, and the 4 great organizations and the 16 great families all had a lot of manpower in the world within a world. Once they gathered, they could form teams of hundreds of people. And for someone like Luo Feng who has no background, if he were to compete with a team of a few hundred people, he would be looking for death. Hence, we'll stay low profile for now. Luo Feng smiled. If we can find treasures, we'll find them. If we can't, we'll dig for universe crystals. Every world had its own universe crystals. In undeveloped worlds, there were even more universe crystals. This was the hard currency of the universe. Within the world within a world, there were no ferocious beasts but a quiet world. So quiet. Luo Feng exclaimed. It's normal to be quiet. The ferocious beasts within the world of thunder are all specially transported over by the Universe Mercenary Alliance for the sake of selecting the trainee mercenaries. Thunder God muttered, actually without any dire beasts, it's really boring to fly. Stop. A voice suddenly resounded in Luo Feng's mind. Stop. Luo Feng immediately used his spirit energy to communicate, roaring, his voice exploding in the ears of the other 4. Damn. Thunder God couldn't help but cover his ears, staring. Luo Feng, lower your voice. Luo Feng couldn't be bothered with his second brother's nonsense, his consciousness swiftly communicating with Babata, following which he looked around and roared, everyone be careful, we'll find a place and start drilling. Burrow into the ground? Hong and Thunder God were stunned. There are universe crystals 3200 underground. Luo Feng said softly. Universe crystals? F***ck universe crystals? Thunder God's eyes widened. This land is made of mud, 1900 down should be made of rocks. However, the rocks here shouldn't be too hard, unlike the rocks in the Valley of Wind and Thunder, which have been tempered by the fierce winds and thunder for a long period of time. We should be able to dig through in a day. Luo Feng said softly. Universe crystals, that was wealth. And it was an absolute hard currency, much more valuable than the Ganwu dollars. And right now Luo Feng was lacking money. Accurately speaking, the moment the golden horned beast breaks through to the universe level, Luo Feng would be extremely short on money. The first account his teacher left him was 10 billion Ganwu dollars. Luo Feng was currently left with less than 5 billion Ganwu dollars. However, the moment the golden horned beast breaks through from the universe level 1 to the domain lord level 1, it would require 1,000 years. To evolve even faster, he would need to purchase many precious metals to form combinations. The metals required for the universe level were much more expensive than the star level, and the amount required was huge. This resulted in Luo Feng's 5 billion Ganwu dollars. Even if he used the best metal combinations, wouldn't even be enough for the universe level golden horned beast for a month. Of course, if he swallowed normal alloy remains etc., it would be cheaper, but the evolution speed would be slower. Luo Feng couldn't afford to waste time. The Nulan Shan family's troops wouldn't take long before they reached Earth. Hence, he had to use the fastest speed to acquire enough money to allow the golden horn beast to evolve as fast as possible. Chi. Aogu used the hybrid copper essence shard to quickly dig into the ground. Luo Feng followed closely behind. Hong and Thunder God followed too. Tainan he was in charge of covering the surface, preventing the other star-level explorers from discovering them. That 1900 deep layer of soil only took half an hour to dig through. However, the rock layer below, the speed was greatly reduced. Too slow. Luo Feng was getting anxious. Looks like it'll really take a day. Luo Feng used the cloud contact vine to hold the shard and dig deeper. Maybe that'll be faster. Hong said. Right? Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Digging a tunnel for a person to move through underground was difficult, but to use a vine to penetrate it, that was much easier. Aogu stepped back. Luo Feng said. Yes. Aogu moved to the side. Luo Feng dug to the very bottom with a thought. The cloud contact armor that stuck to his skin immediately extended a vine. Simultaneously the wrist guard on his wrist swiftly wrapped around the vine, and the wrist guard shrunk. This wrist guard was where Babata stayed. It was also Babata's storage space. This long vine was slender yet sturdy. There was even a leaf at the top. The leaf wrapped around the hybrid copper essence shard, swiftly extending downwards. The hybrid copper essence shard dug into the ground. The slender vine continuously extended downwards. It was simply too fast. Back on Earth, the Star Traveler level 5 or 6 cloud contact vine, its length was already shocking. The current Star level 4 cloud contact vine could easily extend up to 10,000 m. Hence, after about 20 minutes or so with the hybrid copper essence shard as the tip of the vine, it had already reached 3,200 m underground. 3,200 m underground. A huge dark blue, almost like the color of the starry sky within the rocks, a vine wrapped around the hybrid copper essence shard, extended over 1,000 m, finally reaching here. On the vine there was even a bracelet. Wow, keep it for me. Babata shouted proudly. The huge dark blue crystal immediately vanished, absorbed into the storage space. Within the storage space, this was an incomparably huge storage space. Even the UNMO planet ship stopped beside. The huge dark blue crystal appeared in mid-air. A metal robot immediately flew over. The robot's red eyes gleamed. A voice came from its mouth. Luo Feng, that idiot, he actually followed the rules of Earth's fighter teams to split the spoils. This universe crystal lord was his, and he was even prepared to give 40% to Hong and Thunder God. What an idiot. This universe crystal is quite big, about 9,000 cubic meters. Cut it. Immediately, a few little robots appeared. They swiftly began to break down this huge universe crystal. The universe crystal's energy was shocking. However, breaking it down wasn't hard in the universe. It was usually broken down into coin shapes. The universe's standard was that 1 cubic meter of universe crystal would be broken down into 1,000 universe dollars. Underground. Luo Feng's cloud contact armor extended vines swiftly retracted. Simultaneously the bracelet flew back into Luo Feng's wrist, entering it. Babata, how many universe crystals did we get? Luo Feng asked within. Haha, our luck isn't bad. A world's scattered universe crystals are usually lesser. Only the central regions have more. I didn't expect you to actually get 3,000 cubic meters of universe crystals this time. Your luck isn't bad. Babata's voice resounded within Luo Feng's consciousness. Luo Feng nodded as he heard. Big brother, second brother, let's go up. Luo Feng said. The 5 swiftly flew towards the surface, very quickly breaking through. How was it? Thunder God looked at Luo Feng. How many universe crystals did we get? Feng asked. Our luck wasn't bad. Luo Feng looked around. It was pitch black and silent. Only the vast land could be vaguely seen. These scattered universe crystals in the world within a world, there wouldn't be many. We got 3,000 cubic meters this time. It's quite a lot. 3,000 cubic meters? Thunder God's eyes gleamed. 3,000 cubic meters is equivalent to 3 million universe dollars. 1 universe dollar, it seems like right now, can be exchanged for over 3,000 Ganwu dollars. Meaning about 10 billion Ganwu dollars. 10 billion Ganwu dollars? Hong too felt that this number was huge. The first time my second brother and I went to the killing fields, we heard a universe-level warrior talking about discovering a new world. I heard he got 10,000 cubic meters of universe crystals. For us to get 3,000 cubic meters in one go, that's not bad. Hong exclaimed. Indeed, a Sector Lord's world, the first transaction is already so much. Luo Feng couldn't help but exclaim, in the legends of the universe explorers, discovering a new world is a huge fortune. However, the first time a new world is discovered, it's usually snatched by the universe levels and even the domain lords. Let's not waste any more time. Luo Feng said, let's continue. The first transaction was 3,000 cubic meters. It was comparable to the wealth his teacher left him in his first account. This made Luo Feng even more excited. The Sector Lord's world was indeed a huge treasure trove. Even the most unassuming universe crystals were huge fortunes. However, the moment the golden horned beast reaches the universe level, the amount of money needed is shocking. This is far from enough, let's continue. Luo Feng was filled with anticipation. At this time, Luo Feng didn't even know the universe crystals he got this time were actually 9,000 cubic meters. It was just that some evil Babata purposely hid 6,000 cubic meters. Maybe the other teams, some had energy sensors. However, those devices, how many of them could match up to Babata's scanning? Under Babata's guidance, Luo Feng quickly discovered a second underground location with universe crystals. Who knows, relying on the Sector Lord's world, I might actually be able to get all the money the golden horned beast needs to reach the universe level. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed, controlling the vines and bracelet to drill into the ground. Drill. The central area of the world within a world, universe crystals are the most abundant. However, the adventurers weren't stupid. The 2 sacred lands, the 4 major organizations, the 16 great families, as well as the low-level countries of the universe, and the adventurers of the various planets, were all fighting for the central region. The competition there was the most intense. Moreover, the hardness of the rocks there was very high, just like the Wind and Thunder Canyon in the world of Thunder. It would be very difficult to excavate it. We might as well do a large search around the world within a world. Scattered cosmos crystals, when gathered together, it's still quite astonishing. Babata persuaded. Luo Feng listened, simultaneously controlling the cloud contact vine to drill into the ground. After more than 3 hours, this was the 3rd place with universe crystals that they had found. I've really struck it rich. Luo Feng was secretly happy. The first place was 3,000 cubes. The second location was slightly less, only 2,000 cubic meters. The third area, according to Babata's scan, it was 4,000 cubic meters. Chi-Chi, the cloud contact vine quickly retracted. Babata, how many? 4,000 cubic meters? Asked Luo Feng. 4,000, Babata answered. Luo Feng looked up at Hong and Thunder God. 4,000 cubic meters. Haha. Both Hong and Thunder God were delighted. Even though Luo Feng had helped them a lot, whether it was Hong, Thunder God or Luo Feng, they were all very clear about the benefits of adventuring in the universe. If they didn't explain it clearly from the start, it would easily cause some conflicts in the future. This kind of thing was too common on Earth. Therefore, the 3 of them had already come to an agreement. If the 3 of them worked together, it would be 1/3 for each of them. If one person exerted the most strength while the other 2 assisted, the person who exerted the most strength would get 60%, while the other 2 would each get 20%. If only one person used his full strength and the other 2 didn't make a move, then it would be a different story. The person who put in the most effort would get 80%, while the other 2 would get 10%. Right now we have a total of 9,000 cubic meters of universe crystal. Luo Feng was elated. Keep looking. Hong said worriedly, I'm afraid we don't have much time left. Once the people from the major organizations arrive, we won't be able to get any benefits. Okay. Luo Feng nodded, his expression serious. Those family descendants and the youngsters of the organization must have reported it to the organization. Very quickly, universe-level warriors and even domain lords. So much so that the peak martial power of the entire Black Dragon Mountain Empire, the Sector Lord, existence, might even come. By then, how would there be a chance for a star-state cannon fodder like him to intervene? A newly discovered world would make people go crazy, and many experts would die. Not to mention a newly discovered world within a world. A world within a world, compared to normal worlds, it attracted many strong warriors. Let's not waste any more time. Luo Feng said softly, let's continue searching for the next location. In the world within a world that was digging for treasures. The other teams may not be able to catch up to Luo Feng's group. However, even if they managed to acquire 100 cubic meters of universe crystals, to normal star-level explorers, that was an astronomical amount of wealth. Hence, all the star-state adventurers started digging like crazy. Unless he went to the central area and fought with tens of thousands of adventurers. Otherwise, in terms of digging efficiency, they really wouldn't be able to catch up to Luo Feng's squad. There was no other way. Babata's surveillance equipment was brought along on the Yun Mo planet ship. Ordinary sector lords didn't have such advanced equipment. A triangular charcoal black spaceship traveled through the universe and arrived at a space not far from SwallowedStar. 2 men dressed in silver-white capes stood shoulder to shoulder. On their chests hung 2-star mercenary badges. Brother Mingyu, this time us 2 brothers should be able to get some treasures. That Thunder Sector Lord was extremely famous back then. It said that he had many treasures on him. When he died, he self-destructed. No one reaped any benefits, said a handsome man with long purple hair and a silvery white cloak. His eyes were as sharp as swords. Brother Donglai, you and I are pretty close to SwallowedStar. We rushed over at the first moment, getting some treasures is very normal. A tall and sturdy man with green and black hair said. These two could be said to be two extremes. One was purple-haired and handsome, the other was tall and sturdy, almost like he was made of steel. These two were the famous warriors of the Three-Axe Mountain, Mingyu and Xiaodonglai. They were both top-notch fighters within the Domain Lord level. Of course, these two were also external members of the Virtual Universe Company's Warriors Department. The Virtual Universe Company's Warriors Department allowed many members to be in other smaller organizations. Compared to the Virtual Universe Company, even the Ganwu Empire didn't pose much of a threat, much less the Black Dragon Mountain Empire's Three-Axe Mountain organization. Those star-level explorers, even though they were the first to discover the world within a world. However, the treasures within the world within a world aren't something small punks like them can take. For them to get some universe crystals is already considered a huge gain, they should be satisfied. The purple-haired man Xiaodonglai smiled. When we were at the star level, we didn't get any universe crystals. Mingyu exclaimed. The two domain lords naturally thought. Star-level explorers didn't even have the right to touch the treasures within the world within a world. Do you want to go to the planet's docking bay? Xiaodonglai asked. No need. Mingyu shook his head. I have property on SwallowedStar, the ship can just fly in, it wouldn't be considered a provocation to the leader of the planet. This universe ship entered the interior of SwallowedStar very quickly, it stopped in the air above the Universe Mercenary Alliance base. One handsome, one tall and sturdy, both wearing silver-white capes that represented their status. The two flew down. Mingyu Donglai. Immediately a green-skinned man dressed in armor flew over. Amole, what's going on? Mingyu and Xiaodonglai, the two domain lords flew over, the green-skinned man's eyes seemed to have another pair of pupils, he pointed unhappily at the villa not far away. Look, that entrance to the world of thunder is being blocked by the Universe Mercenary Alliance, not letting anyone in. What's going on? Mingyu and Xiaodonglai were shocked. Right now the various powers of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire had sent their experts over at this time, could it be that the person in charge of the Universe Mercenary Alliance base on SwallowedStar would dare to block them? Let's go over, Mingyu said. Immediately the three domain lords walked over. At the villa's entrance stood 12 universe-level warriors, each of them either cold, tyrannical, laughing, or gloomy, all in all each of them had their own unique traits. The villa's guards didn't dare block them, however at the villa's entrance stood a lady with short silver hair, dressed in a bright silver battle uniform. Lord Mingyu. Lord Donglai. Immediately many of the universe-level warriors bowed. Mingyu and Xiaodonglai nodded, looking at the lady. Mingyu said softly, a world within a world has appeared in the world of thunder, it's no longer suitable to be an examination world. Since it's no longer suitable, then it should be a world that every mercenary has the right to enter, why are you blocking the way? Who are you? The lady with short silver hair shouted. Mingyu, the leader of the Three-Axe Mountain Mingyu. The tall and sturdy Mingyu stared at the lady. Listen well, I'm Rania. The lady with short silver hair emitted a cold aura, as though she was the ruler of the surrounding area, a god. Rania? Mingyu and Xiaodonglai creased their eyebrows. There were very few sector lords in the Black Dragon Mountain Empire, and there weren't many domain lords either. As long as they had a bit of fame, they would recognize them. However, they had never heard of a female region lord called Rania. The world of thunder is an examination world. It's an examination world recognized by our Universe Mercenary Alliance, unless the Alliance revokes its status as an examination world, otherwise, it will remain an examination world. As an examination world used to select trainee mercenaries, only star-level explorers have the right to enter. Mercenaries, you are forbidden from entering. The silver-haired lady shouted. Mingyu, Xiaodonglai and Mo, the three domain lords were furious. Rules? Sometimes there were rules to be followed but sometimes, there was no need to. Rania, what's your status in the Universe Mercenary Alliance? Daring to block 3 Universe 2-star mercenaries. Mingyu shouted. 8 hours later. The sky was already dark at the entrance to the world of thunder. Outside that villa, the number of domain lords had already reached 6, and the number of universe levels had reached 21. But when faced with this silver-haired woman, Rania, no one could enter. Rumble. The land and skies trembled slightly. Large amounts of people in the Universe Mercenary Alliance base looked up, only to see a silver-white pyramid appear in the air. Immediately Mingyu and the others were shocked. Automaton ship? In the Black Dragon Mountain Empire, the number of warriors with automaton ships were few and far between, and the ship before them seemed to be rather high level. The silver-white pyramid suddenly disappeared. An incomparably sturdy bald man suddenly appeared, his eyes burning with flames, there was even a flame mark on his forehead, his gaze sweeping downwards, immediately causing all the domain lords below to feel their souls tremble. They couldn't help but lower their heads. The universe-level warriors had long since bowed respectfully in respect. Lord An Mengzi. The domain lords and universe levels all bowed respectfully. An Mengzi, known as the Flame Sector Lord within the Sector Lords of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire, he was definitely a pinnacle warrior, his use of flames had already reached an inconceivable level. The burning of the flames was enough to cause space to collapse. Move aside. An Mengzi's gaze swept towards the silver-haired lady. The silver-haired lady looked at An Mengzi, her gaze stopping at the flame imprint between his eyebrows, revealing a strange smile. An Mengzi? You've already reached the recognition of the universe origin laws? Indeed a Sector Lord Pinnacle warrior. However, this is a test world recognized by the Universe Mercenary Alliance. Only star-level explorers participating in the test can enter. No mercenaries are allowed in. I told you to move aside. An Mengzi's voice was thick, giving off a feeling that made one's soul tremble. The silver-haired lady's body suddenly emitted a silver-white glow. Impudent. The silver-haired lady roared, pointing angrily at the absolute warrior in front of her. An Mengzi, you actually dare to challenge the Universe Mercenary Alliance's rules? The test world, only star-level explorers can enter. If you want to die, go ahead and enter. I dare guarantee that if you enter now, after the matter is over, our Universe Mercenary Alliance's law enforcement team will definitely kill you, causing your soul to dissipate into nothingness, leaving nothing behind. And the others listen carefully. The silver-haired lady retreated to one side, pointing at the villa. If you want to die, go ahead and enter. At that moment, the 6 domain lords, the 21 universe-level warriors were all silent. Even the flame sector lord An Mengzi was deep in thought as he looked at the silver-haired lady before him, not daring to barge in. Time passed day by day. The number of warriors on SwallowedStar grew more and more, however not a single warrior was able to enter the world of thunder. Almost as though the words "if you want to die, go ahead and enter," had a shocking amount of power. And within a world, the star-level cannon fodder were all in a frenzy of excitement. Luo Feng and the others were also diligently grasping every bit of time they had.